Social media is a great thing for brands because it's an opportunity to address your community in a way that's a lot less formal, in a way that is more likely to build trust in the consumer, unlike traditional advertising where people are taught to be skeptical. Instead, there's social proof built in. So you have your friends liking a brand, and that translates to their trust in a brand, and if that trust is pre-existing, that extends to their followers, especially if they're to share something. It's an indispensable thing for any brand. It's not a choice anymore. But especially for crowdfunding campaigns, it makes all of the sense in the world to be very active on your social media platforms. It's really important to provide meaningful and relevant content. If you are syndicating things from other sites that are relevant to what you're saying, that really shows that you have thought leadership in whatever your industry or type of community is. They will want to receive updates because you're providing them with something that's useful to your followers. And they'll engage with that, maybe by liking it, maybe by thinking that their followers would be interested in that content as well and sharing it. So really, shareable content is key. And you have to be really thoughtful about that. And it has to be consistent with your messaging, and it has to be consistent with the values of either your brand or your campaign. I think the most important thing that I do for ensuring that the messaging is clear is really spending time on understanding the voice of a company. Because social media is the voice. It's the first touch a lot of people are going to have with the brand. Beyond just traditional advertising, which is great for brand recognition, social media is really your way to reach out and talk to and interact with your followers. So you have to have a voice. If you establish voice, values, and interests with your followers, then you know what they want to hear. You know what they're going to be interested in having shared with them, and you can give them that. And if they don't like it, you can respond to it. That's one of the great things about social media, is you can react to an audience in a way that's very personable and makes them trust you. There's a wrong way to do it. If you market too strongly to your audience, they will see right through that, and it will actually negatively affect your brand in a big way. Every platform that you're on increases your brand recognition, but beyond that, it's important that you have people engaged on your platform. It's good to have likes, it's good to have followers, but unless they're interacting with your material, it's not entirely meaningless, but the meaning really comes from the interaction. And if you have more people interacting with it, it will increase your SEO. So nearly 1 in 4 people in the world use social media, which makes it an indispensable tool for free marketing. And beyond that, it's a great way to gain new analytics about your brand. It's about making sure that your message is clear and that it's true to the values of what you're doing. So it's very different for each campaign, for each project, but my strategy always involves going through and first outlining those things. What platforms are going to be best for this particular project? How are we going to market on those platforms? Another mistake people make is sending the same information to all of their platforms. The users of Pinterest are not the same as Instagram, they're not the same as Facebook, they're not the same as Twitter, so you shouldn't talk to them the same. Going through and really developing a strategy that's specific not only to the brand but to the platform, figuring out what are the main things that we want to talk about, what are the things that we want people to hear from us, and once that's established, then coming up with a content calendar, posting frequency, and I think it's always important to establish policies too, just so that the messaging is consistent. There's often more than one person for a company that's doing their messaging, and if that's the case, there needs to be a very clear set of guidelines for how that messaging should go, because it's not the expectation of an audience that there is a team of people working on their social media. It's supposed to be the voice of a person, a brand, as a singular unit. And I am that singular unit. I take all of the information from a brand. I spend a lot of time trying to gain the deepest understanding of the values of a brand, because I think that's the thing that really comes through in the way you talk to people and the sort of information that you share with them, and really developing a message that is true to your brand.